And in normal mode, you just go, it's fine. I'll pick up some heart containers, and that'll give me a buffer against blind. In expert, we remove most of the heart containers and heart pieces, so they won't have that. They will have a lamp at the very start, though.
Interesting first find, so I guess we're not going to see any dark rooms at all whatsoever.
I'm always a little disappointed without dark rooms, but I can deal with that. It does look like Thieves Town's a crystal, a red crystal at that, and pendants up in Swamp and down in Misery Mire.
Yeah, and you were talking about that blind fight, and with that red crystal, Thieves Town even more attractive than it normally already is.
Very definitely. Thalane going for that early tree pull gets 20 arrows out of the deal, which means he's not really interested in that reward at all.
Yeah, unfortunately, probably going to be a little while until he'll even be able to put those arrows.
Who knows, maybe we'll get that early bow, and we won't have to go into Thieves Town just yet because Palace of Darkness will be open. We can hope for that.
I mean, yeah, we can hope for that. That would be nice. We'll see how it plays out.
Thalane, already in Skullwoods, takes that intentional death, farming some bombs underneath the pots.
Yeah, I like this play. It's pretty quick. You get magic, you get 2 bombs, and then after your first death, that spawns you right there again. You get to continue through Skullwood, or at least as much as you can clear with only a lamp in hand.
Yeah, and those bombs, that back area with the vanilla big key chest, it's never easy with only bombs, but bombs at least make it doable.
Oh, Lane getting boxed in there.
And looks like Jet's opting to go all the way up to 6 bombs, wanting a bit more of a usage buffer on his items. I'm not going to fault him for that.
Yeah, he on the other hand did not pick up any of the magic, which, with the lamp in hand, you could already put to use. Not a lot, to be frank, but,
If something like Fire Rod or Samaria starts appearing, some sort of magic-driven weapon, Thalane's going to have a bit of an edge with that. And I always love it. He paused just for a second there when he left Skullwoods. He was thinking, okay, am I going into town or am I going to the middle?
Yeah, it's, as you were saying earlier, with just bombs, it is doable, as opposed to just being straight up impossible, but it's still not fun.
You can also do what he's done and just wait for the berries to move themselves out of your way. And he's got a stuck mummy on the left. This room has gone very slowly but very effectively for him.
Yeah, so far so good. Let's see if you can actually get anything out of here. Well, a big key. It's a...
I'm interested in what Jet just found over in Hype Cave. A bunch of rupees and stuff, but also the power glove.
Ooh, that's also a very nice item to find.
So that's Death Mountain access if we want it. Though, of course, that's a very, very long walk just for the old man reward, since we don't have Moon Pearl yet. But it does have me suspiciously eyeing Aga Tower, which these runners can beat with just a sword at this point.
Oh, the lane barely getting around those mini Moldorms, only rewarded with a small key, and Jet finds the hand. He's apparently finding all the goods here.
Okay, well, that's almost Light World access. Just need the Moon Pearl. It also opens up that hammer blind fight we were talking about.
Sadly, it does. Or maybe not so sadly, depending on how you're feeling about it.
I don't know why I'm wincing when I say that, because I saw Jet practicing that. I'm actually looking forward to both of these runners doing that fight, purely because it might give him a chance to show off.
Yeah, and I mean, if you've practiced it, and if you're at least somewhat comfortable doing it, it might just be exactly the right play. We also see Jet grab a blue potion here out of the chess game.
And we are in expert mode, so that blue potion is good for a quarter of your magic meter and 1 heart, if you choose to drink it.
That's what you get.
Although, you know what? In a 3-heart hammer blind fight, that 1 heart could make a huge difference, realistically.
It really could, yeah. I mean, it's still better than not having anything, and as you were saying, throughout the seed so far, hammer blind is no fun, and hammer blind with 3 hearts, right? 5 minutes or 10 minutes into the seed. Ugh.
Now, Thalane here does not have enough money for the digging game, so he's just going to go to Archery, spend 20 rupees, line himself up against this guy with the drum, and farm up a ton of money so he can do dig game. He is really averse to Village of Outcasts at this point. And that is 2 perfect rounds on the archery game. That is plenty of money for the foreseeable future here.
I apologize for that little outburst. My keyboard is currently having a little bit of an episode, so expect that to maybe happen again. Anyways, we're now at the digging game that Thalane, as you were just mentioning, farmed up the money for from the archery game. My favorite NPC in the whole game, I have to admit.
Why is that?
I just think that guy is awesome. He never gets to show off. Usually in inverted seeds, he thankfully gets a little bit more of the spotlight. And he's just so enthusiastic, banging on his drum.
Oh, you mean the archery game NPC? Yeah, he's the best, no question.
Yeah.
Alright, Jet cleared out the front half of Thieves Town. I don't think he got anything really interesting, but he's into the back half now, clearing out that attic, and it looks like Thalane's going to join him in the village pretty quickly here.
Yeah, and about time.
So, one of the interesting things about these settings that Thalane picked is he picked Uncle Assured in expert mode, which means there's a guaranteed sword when these runners get to the light world. But it's also not necessarily useful because they might already have 2 swords by the time we get light world access. That's an interesting combination he goes for.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about that, but that does sound interesting.
It does mean that very probably these runners are going to be on the same level of sword for most of this race. And maybe any advantage there is going to get ironed out.
I like the blind maiden sprite that you get when you have the Samus sprite going. The blue skirt and the blonde hair kind of work.
The neat little twist. And yeah, one of the better alternate palettes for the maiden sprite, certainly. And Jet has reached this fight. Let's see how he handles this. He needs to land 9 hits with the hammer, 3 in 3 cycles. And that's a very strong first cycle.
Starting off very well, yeah.
Oh no. Didn't quite finish that second cycle, and Blind's up. Blind's got him, Jet's down.
Oh, once it goes off the rails, it's hard to come back. Yeah, and we see Jet just walking away. I really don't blame him at all. He can always come back later on when he feels more comfortable doing whatever he was trying to accomplish there. Just banging your head against Blind. I guess another try or two, not the worst idea, but there's plenty of other stuff to check for now.
Yeah, and we'll have to see what Thalane finds in this dungeon. I'm pretty sure Jet skipped the big chest, which you would only do if you hadn't found the map or the compass yet. So I think we're looking at a situation where Blind isn't even holding an item. So why bother rushing it just right now?
Yeah, that is very true.
Or Mind of Me, our excellent tracker today, correcting me that we didn't have a small key. A small key was in that chest. So Blind could still be holding an item.
Oh, yeah. Jet also very well practiced in the archery game here. The little dude banging on his drum like a crazy man.
I'm not going to lie, I'm a little disappointed we found such a reliable setup for the archery game, because I liked it being a bit more frantic and requiring a bit more lining things up. But it's also very nice for everyone still in this tournament to be able to just consistently walk up next to that guy, fire the arrows at a certain spot, and hit 100% of the time.
Yeah, I know what you mean, though. It was always a little bit exciting to see people try to get money out of that and not, lose all the money that they have to invest to even be able to play it.
It definitely sucked, though, when you spent your last 20 rupees, missed everything, and that was it for your archery days.
Yeah, I can definitely sympathize with that.
Alright, so faced with the option of going back to the blind fight, going over to the eastern part of the Dark World, or climbing Death Mountain, I think Jet is opting to go up the mountain here.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it. We see 300 bucks up there on the left.
So of course, inverted mode, we had to play around with the caves a bit. If you want to get to that ledge, you come in from the light world and use the mirror to warp yourself to that 300 rupees, or whatever it is on a given day.
Mm-hmm.
And the old man cave just takes you straight up the mountain in the light world. And Jet's going to have a huge hike with this old guy to get him up to the light world portal, then back down with some impressive leaps.
Yeah, it's I always kind of enjoy seeing that. We were saying earlier it might not be worth coming up here just for the old man. But I always think it looks kind of funny bringing him back this way. Thalane on his blind fight, he starts off pretty well as well. Let's see how his second phase.
Ooh, missing a couple of hits there.
Oh boy.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
He's going for that potion already. Now into phase 2, or phase 3.
And a good choice it was. He is down to 1 heart. Going for the boss buffering here. I like this. You get a little bit of a chance to see where the shots are moving, what is happening. And, frame movement. Oh, man. Oh, doing a good job. He only needs one more, I believe. Oh, looks like blind is changing sides. Oh, no. Oh, man. How unfortunate. Those were some really sweet dodges, and then...
Those were some incredible lineups he had gone for. Especially that one with the laser he had. Like, in real time, there's no way a human's dodging that. I was impressed. I was so focused on that, I didn't catch what the old man had, did you?
No, it looks to be the fire rod, though, if our tracker is to be believed, which I'm gonna assume here, thanks again, Mind of Me, that they are to be believed.
Well, that opens up a bit more in Skull Woods for us.
And we see the lane also opting not to waste more time on the blind fight, going for the pyramid here, while Jet seems to be going over to the pod area. Interesting. I don't think he's checked the pyramid.
No, he might be waiting to, I don't know, do that with Catfish later.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly skipping pyramid won't have hurt him. That's only 20 rupees.
Yeah.
Now, Jet did not use a potion in the blind fight, is that correct?
I think he still has his blue potion, yeah.
I'm wondering if he kept that in mind for this trip he's making over to Pod, hoping to do a camera unlock glitch and make sure he can explore a bit more of the dungeon since he's made the entire trek here.
Yeah, since he pretty much beelined it straight to Pod, I think that might have been on his lane making the other long trip over here all the way to Catfish. Let's see what this has to offer.
Well, a piece of heart for that whole trek is not worth it in any difficulty that's not expert, and maybe still not even worth it in expert.
Yeah, it was a long trip up there, and a piece of heart is a little bit disappointing. On the other hand, Jet now, as you were saying, he got the big key in the first chest, which means this is technically bow lock, but with his potion that he still has, looks to be out there to do a little camera unlock glitch.
And he finds a unique item is in Palace of Darkness from the hint tile. Good thing he's in Palace of Darkness right now.
Yeah, maybe he can reach it. Let's hope he can. Thalane, on the other hand, is probably going to be a little bit disappointed. He's not going to get very far at all.
Yeah, the camera unlock glitch that the Jet's doing here. And just watch. Oh look, the mimics aren't on the screen anymore. The door has opened. Don't worry about it. This is one of those glitches. You still can't beat the dungeon because you still have to have the bow. But when Jet does this, he's going to be able to get this unique item on his first trip to the dungeon, almost certainly. And if that gives him some extra efficiencies in his routing, he could end up with a big boost in this seed compared to Thalane, who's walked over here for not really anything.
Yeah, he's going to be grabbing that big key, and then he has to be out of there. Wouldn't be surprised to see a save and quit. Yeah, there we go. Well, Jet now, armed with 2 small keys, has more stuff he can explore.
Yeah, he's got to be a bit careful with what he does. If he drops down from this room right now, he will be able to get the item there, but he'd have to potion glitch again, and without potions anymore, his trip to this dungeon would be over.
Yeah.
I guess he could go back through the front door, though.
Yeah, I suppose with the keys he could go the normal way, quote unquote, but he's wasting a key that he'd rather spend to maybe get another item right now.
Very.
Memory, yeah.
Oh, I thought he had it there. That looks correct.
Interesting.
Is that his unique item from Palace of Darkness, the silver arrows?
Well, it's not a bottle. The silver arrows, they could be. It seems to be a good candidate, at least.
That's about the worst unique item you can get in expert mode. It saves you some time in the Ganon fight, but physically cannot be used outside of that fight.
Yeah, that is definitely not what he was hoping for. He can check 3 more chests, possibly. Wait, 4 more chests, possibly? Yeah, definitely not. And then maybe something else in the beginning.
Oh yeah, there's still some options.
There's a shield. Well, so far this trip to Pod.
Ooh, Thalane in the Light World gives us a map check. I think that was a red crystal over at Eastern and green pendant hiding down in Desert Palace.
I believe that is correct.
And I think Jet just left Palace of Darkness without checking 2 chests in the front area.
I believe he did, yeah.
He may have been counting keys and figured out he wouldn't need those.
Yeah, maybe. Looks to be making his way over to the pyramid now, and then, yeah. And then probably up to Catfish, or maybe up to Catfish. It is a long track.
And
Magic Powder is in Mimic Cave.
So interestingly, we've only seen Jet check one hint so far. That's the one in Palace of Darkness. We have seen Thalane checking more hints, finding out about that magic powder. I think he found out there's some cash in Mini Moldorm Cave.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just looking at how Jet doesn't read hint tiles, and I'm wondering if that's going to give Thalane a boost at some point in this race.
It could be. I mean, it really kind of depends on if Jet was skipping the hints on purpose, or if he just thought he couldn't read it because he was a bunny and, you know, all the other things like that.
Yeah, that's an important distinction to make. Thalane, very nice work crossing that bridge on Dark Death Mountain. Those Lionels, it'll take you out in a hit if you walk into them, but he just carries a bomb above his head, takes the damage from that bomb, and uses those iframes to run straight through. It's a pretty tricky skill to pull off.
Definitely impressive looking.
And we find it's Quake Medallion required for the front door or Turtle Rock, but of course, this is inverted mode. We're much more likely to just go in the back doors and ignore that requirement entirely.
Yep, take a little hop and skip over the tail of the big turtle, and then we... Or, you know, we just go through the laser bridge entrance.
And Jet looks like he's going to do the same trip up to Super Bunny Cave. Unfortunately, that didn't really give us anything useful. So progression is not going to be there. I think we are down to beat blind or check the very back area of Skull Woods.
Yeah, and I think the lane is exactly on his way there. Now with armed with one more heart, you gotta be careful, you know, if you wanna get hit by anything in the blind fight, try to get hit by those fireballs. They do 1 heart of damage. Anything else will, well, pretty much anything else will do 2 hearts of damage to you, which, you know, in expert mode means a lot.
We could say 2 hearts. We could say half of your entire health bar. It's the same thing, really.
Yeah, unfortunately for these guys, not too much of a difference.
Alright, Thalane through the first phase of this fight with only 1 heart of damage, which is a pretty good start.
Oh no.
And then walks into blind and takes those extra 2 hearts along with a fireball shot. He is down again.
Yeah, but I think at this point he's probably sticking with it and is pretty sure, just like we are, that there has to be something on here. If it's not on here, it's, you know, as you were saying, in the back of Skull Woods, that seems crazy.
What are we going to get? Is it time for the Moon Pearl to make an appearance and let us get to all of the Light World at once?
That would be something. Probably the most, you know, convenient thing for these guys to find.
Looks like Jet's headed to blind as well. The frustrating thing about this fight, of course, is you can work on a script for doing the fight, but if you take a death, then when you re-enter the room, blind's going to be sitting at the top, and you're going to have to deal with a much trickier setup for this whole fight. Thalane now doing that pause buffer action again in phase 3, just doing what he can to avoid those fireballs, and it's working so far.
Yeah, made it out of that corner barely. I think he only needs 1 more hit, but first he needs to get in range. Oh, there's another fireball. Oh boy. Jet now also in the fight. It's going crazy on all sides of the screen here.
I see fireballs and heads and a flashing blind on Thalane's side. For
Oh,
5
come
rupees.
on. Really? Jesus. Well, at least it's a crystal, I guess.
Jet now in phase 3 of the fight, also going for some pause buffers. He's also, I think, just got 1 hit left he needs to make. And he might be... Yeah. He's out of luck there.
Unfortunate. Alright, Thalane, where are you going? I'm guessing back to Skull Woods at this point. Oh no, he's controlled by the guards.
Fortunately, in the Dark World, we can outrun those red guards. Oh, and Thalane takes a hit from the Ropa in that, I don't know what to call it. It's like the stomach or the skeleton of some ancient beast in Skull Woods.
Oh, and Jet takes another death to blind here. The thing is, both of these guys are probably feeling pretty terrible right about now. Because, especially Jet, he will probably feel even more terrible once he's done with this blind fight and grabbing those 5 rupees. Because at this point, this is like the last stuff both of these guys can check. And they're just having no luck here, and they probably feel really behind.
Yeah, it's very common for a runner to get bottlenecked trying to do this blind fight in inverted mode. Less common for both runners to get bottlenecked for the same time that they have here. And so as a result, these runners might be looking at it and both thinking for the remainder of this race, oh gosh, I'm so far behind.
Mm-hmm. Alright, the lane coming up on the chest, that will make the difference.
This has to be progression, right?
I mean, at this point, I don't know where else it could be anymore.
I hate saying this. What if we got the flippers right now, and the game just said go to Ice Palace?
No, thankfully you're wrong.
Oh!
Alright, a Moo Pearl is a pretty nice find.
Yeah, it really opens things up. Opens things up a bit more than a lot of runners would like. Just kind of too many options, nowhere good to start in the light world.
Mm-hmm.
But it at least gives us that access, and it's not going to do this evil forced Ice Palace that I had in mind.
And with the hammer and the gloves and your backpack already, you're pretty well equipped to kind of get around in the light world at least. So I think this is pretty nice.
You know what else was pretty nice?
Yeah, good thing that we're thinking the same thing here, Philion.
That was a good fight from Jet there. I like how he got that last hit in on Blind as Blind was running up to the top of the room where the hits are terrible. That was a nice little snipe to get.
Yeah, very
So
nicely
Jet's
done.
been good for-
Oh, he's checking again.
So down in the southern light world, Thalane's about to give us a mini Moldorm check. One of these chests at least is going to have some money in it from a hint tile. The others, well, who knows?
Alright, that worked out better than I thought for the lane. Oh, very nice.
Nice fire rod there.
Oh boy.
Money, arrows, cape, arrows, money.
Interesting. Probably also not what we were hoping for here.
Well, the cape does something. We can put some green potion in there, combine it with the hammer, and go to Spike Cave. Or,
Yeah.
we could clear the entire rest of the light world right now.
Which I'm hoping he decides to do. Jet now checking the rest of his Skull Woods, just as the little lane was not a lot of spaces or spots left for him to check. Oh, is he going backwards? Hasn't he been to Skull Woods at all yet?
He had been to the front part, but he hadn't been to the middle section. So he didn't have his big key yet, so he's going to check the big key chest now before he gets his Moon Pearl. Little inefficiency compared to what Thalane did earlier that is keeping him bottlenecked on that Moon Pearl for a bit longer.
Ooh, the crabs. Lane walking back. Ooh, nice grabbing a bomb from that. I believe that's also a 50-50 chance up there.
Yep. Oh no. Jet's looking at his map a lot, which is never a good sign. He does have to go to the very back of Skull Woods section. There's one chest he can get without a sword, and he just needs to recall that that's what he needs.
Yeah, he's trying to think what he might have missed. Hope that chest comes to mind. He did get that early fire on, but going to the back of Skull Woods without a sword is maybe not on his mind at all.
No. Over on the lane side, with Fake Flipper, we've reached the hobo. We're gonna get a piece of heart. And a Fake Flipper out of the hobo area. Probably up to Zoran now that we've got 500 rupees to buy things.
Yeah, 533 rupees. And with the Moon Pearl in hand, we can also check the waterfall ferry. Or we're going somewhere else.
We could also just take this warp up here, pretend we're doing a vanilla run of the game, and end up near Death Mountain.
Yep, I guess that's what we're doing. Jet, in the meantime, saves and quits out of Skull Woods here. Unfortunate. Hopefully he has an idea of what he needs to do or where he needs to go.
I think at this point he's probably thinking he forgot something and needs to start rechecking stuff. I'm not sure what he's doing down by the lake here.
Yeah, I'm not either. Maybe... Maybe he's thinking, hey, maybe there's a spot that you can get to that I don't know, like the Lake Hylia Island or something that you can jump to somehow.
Over in the back of Escape, Thalane, bombs, rupees, and a sword at least.
Yeah, there we go. At least and at last. I mean, 33 minutes is not the worst. The interesting thing about this is, since we have Uncle Assured, we basically already have our Master Sword for the lane at this point.
Yeah, the unfortunate part is we didn't get a key in the back of Escape. So we can't go check the sewers chest from here. Thalane's going to have to go through the front of Escape to get that. The good news is, that's a good time to pick up a sword. But first, the Lost Woods in Kakariko.
Yeah, just pretend we started just now instead of, 34.5 minutes ago, and this is actually an open mode standard, normal seed as you're used to.
Thalane checking the Lumberjack Cave, finding out if he's going to need to end up doing Aga Tower after all. Was that a book?
Was it really? I thought I might have, seen something wrong, but it might have been.
So that's actually fantastic for it to see, because this is an all dungeons seed. That's the goal Thalane picked for this race, right? We're not finishing this without doing every dungeon. Inverted mode has the book as about the worst item, because you really only need it for Desert Palace. It can be hiding anywhere. So why not just tell the runners where the book is?
Yeah, I mean, it could definitely be a lot worse. Usually you're not very happy about seeing the book up on the Lumberjack Ledge, but as you were saying, all dungeons, it's a little bit of a different story, and inverted all dungeons, even more of a different story.
Also, the good news is that at some point, we're going to run into the boots. It might not be early, but we will be getting those boots and can play at least a bit of the game with them.
Yeah, and, who doesn't want the boots? Earlier, the better. Looks like Jet was just farming some more money. Maybe... Oh, speaking of the boots. And speaking of our third sword.
Blind's Hut is doing pretty well for the runners here. Heck, there's a piece of heart, and Thalane now has a full 5 heart containers.
Oh man, it's almost not gonna get better than that. And speaking of not gonna get better than that, it looks like Jet remembered what he forgot. He's beelining straight to the back of Skullwoods here.
Oh yeah, he's on the path now. I don't want to be in his position here. He's probably not going to be too happy with this, but Jet's also the kind of player who's fairly good at letting this kind of thing just roll off and rally, so Thalane's got a huge lead here of several minutes, but Jet's still going to pull out some plays, I'm thinking.
Yeah, this really unfortunately cost Jet a lot of time. On the other hand, it didn't cost him as much time as it could have, and he ended up remembering what he forgot. This could have easily been another half hour of Jet trying to figure out what he forgot and starting to double-check everything. There we go.
He's not saving and quitting immediately out of here. I think he's going to end up going for the Kakariko Dark World portal.
Yeah, might be.
We saw Thalane make the trip over to the Bonk Rocks, but it didn't really help him. But look at him go with those boots. He is just clearing up this game.
Yeah, the boots in hand. He's got to be feeling pretty good. As you were saying, we know where the book is. We've got to clear all dungeons anyway. We already have the Master Sword, and we know that Uncle has a sword for us guaranteed as soon as we can get to them. Jet even found the silvers already, as quote-unquote useless as they might be in it.
I mean, I should give them a fair shake. In expert mode, they are fantastic for the Ganon fight, because it's 24 Master Sword spins that you don't have to do. And that fight is really draining as time goes on. Mm-hmm. So it's good to have. It just doesn't give him a lead at this point in the race, and assuming Thalane ends up checking that chest ever, it doesn't work out to being a lead, which is what you hope when you see, hey, I just glitched to a unique item in pod.
Yeah, that is definitely very true. The lane, we see the not very often seen heart container grab from the library. Heart piece grab, not a heart container. He would definitely grab a heart container.
He can't grab one anymore because I think he already picked up the soul heart container in expert mode. He got another heart piece, or another full heart very quickly, up to 6 now.
He also saw a mushroom here at the race game, which means he's definitely gonna pick that. With boots and a sword in hand. A lot of people still think you can only finish this with boots. 6 seconds doesn't get much faster than that.
I tried to beat the race game faster than that once by mirroring in from the dig game. The guy got really mad at me.
Yeah, you know, you wouldn't think in an SNES game that they would have something for that in there. But they get surprisingly mad.
For all that we like to joke about how broken this game can be if you really try to break it with glitches, there's some remarkably resilient bits of programming. I love that bonk Thalane did off the statue. When he does that, he knows that he's as far left as he can be on that screen, and so he can have that fake flipper set up, and it routes him straight up to the witch's hut to turn in that mushroom.
Yeah, super quick, super easy mushroom check right here. Right. That is just a beautiful setup.
This is some good routing and done on the fly, pretty much. I'm highly impressed by this play. It's too bad he only gets 300 rupees for doing that.
Yeah, really, the money that you get in expert is kind of devalued even more. Usually rando seeds, you generally tend to end them with a lot of money in your pockets anyway. But in expert, you kind of want to buy potions, but at the same time, you don't really because they're not that helpful.
Alright, Thalane now in Hyrule Castle area, gonna check that secret passage and probably do the front parts of Escape as well. If he does this right, he's gonna skip that uncle check because he knows it's 20 rupees now that he picked up his sword.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And, there's no question, Thalane still has a lead here. Jet lost a significant amount of time trying to recall where it was still open. But Jet also got the boots very quickly when he got to the Dark World. So that's not a full minute save, but still a pretty significant save.
Yeah,
by going straight to Agahnim.
He definitely made a good choice there, not, saving and quitting with that Moon Pearl, but doing that Death Warp, going straight back out and walking all the way back. It was a little bit of a trek, but it paid off big for him, and he definitely saved a bunch of time. The lane now going through the rest of Escape, finds a red rupee here. I wouldn't be surprised to see him grab that book sooner rather than later, and, by extension, do Aga 1 beforehand.
I was gonna say, he could just go ahead and do it right now. And he could, but not from Hyrule Castle where he is, because, inverted, Castle Tower's up on the mountain.
Yeah, it is, a little bit of a different adventure in Inverted, but it doesn't mean he can't get there.
Thalane purposely taking a ton of damage on that ball and chain guard so he can drop this bomb, set himself up for a death warp, and now we can go check that one remaining chest in the Dark Crossroom. As Jet finds out, hey, I'm gonna have to beat Aga in this all dungeons seed.
Yep, there's a little bit of a book up. Well, the runner's picking up a bunch of money, the lane coming up on the last chest, and it is more money.
Yeah, there's a lot of blue rupees that we're seeing today, and that's because when we take all those useful items out of the game in expert mode, we just replace them with blue rupees. So all those heart pieces, $5 each time.
Are you trying to say blue rupees aren't useful?
When you're running almost 900 rupees, yeah, I am.
Yeah, fair enough.
If they were at 495 rupees and knew their progression was on Zora, I might be singing a different tune.
Thalane gonna now make his first trip over here to the Eastern Palace area. He's probably gonna check right in there as well, I'm gonna assume.
It's too bad he missed that spin speed. It's a really convenient thing to do in the Eastern area. Spin speed, of course, is that glitch where you charge a spin, release it, and 1 frame after releasing it, hit the dash button. Then if you walk onto a set of stairs or off that set of stairs, you go as fast as if you had the boots, but you can move in any direction you want at a time. And it's very good for this overworld stuff. So look what Jet's doing.
Yeah, Jet is doing what we were talking about earlier with Thalane, who might have been able to do it, but decided not.
This is fun. He's just going to do Aga Tower right now. Usually the only reason you could put off Aga Tower is, oh, I might get a better sword. When you're at Master Sword, your sword's not getting any better.
Yeah.
You're not killing enemies any faster. He's got Fire Rod for the enemies he really needs to get rid of fast. So he can just do this. What I really like is that he still hasn't been to the south of Hyrule. And when he goes down there, he can do all of Desert at that time.
Yeah, this is really gonna come in very handy for him routing. Once he grabs that book, he saw it and he pretty much immediately thought, alright, I got everything I need. I'm gonna head up there, why not?
While he's doing that, he can also rule out the purple chest as having something useful. It's only got money, and I'm going to keep saying 5 rupees. Not worth it.
Yeah, at this point we really do have more than enough of that money. Not something you'd say in the real world, but, you know, in Zelda we definitely do. Thalane grabs an ether medallion out of that big chest here in Eastern Palace.
Well, obviously that's no good for Turtle Rock. It still could be handy for Misery Mire, but without either Flute or Mirror at this point, we're not opening that door.
Yeah, probably not for a long while, and if it is indeed needed for Misery Mire, unless he happens upon the Flute and all the rest that he needs very soon, it's probably not going to get him too big of an advantage over Jet.
And Thalane clears out as much as he can of Eastern Palace, gets some money at the end. Without a bow, he's not finishing this dungeon. Looks like he's on the Aga Tower train as well.
Yeah, I mean, at this point we're really starting to see that everything is pointing in that direction. Where else would they be able to go here that would net them even close to as much value or possible value as this?
Well, Thalane's headed to... Oh, he's trying to get to Hookshot Cave to bonk to that one chest. Meanwhile, Jet's fighting Agahnim. There's some blue balls between 0 and 15 with numbers. Jet is well executing this fight that is essentially a cutscene.
Yeah, I haven't been counting, but I think it's been quite a number already.
Good news is, of course, in Randomizer, we don't like things to be too random, and we fixed the RNG, so both runners, if they execute the fight correctly, get the same number of blue balls.
Yep, so even though it's extremely annoying, and you'd rather not deal with whatever Jet is dealing with right now there, he can rest assured that Thalane won't have a better time.
Remember that version of Randomizer where we just removed the blue balls? That was good times.
I do remember. Alright, the lane grabs a small fighter shield for his troubles getting over here. Not really worth it, I would say. Gonna have to dodge those Lionels again. Ooh, okay, makes it through. Oh, there's one more.
Oh, just gets by.
Very nice there, turning around before he gets hit, so he gets damage boosted in the right direction for him. Oh, nice fairy under that bush, and off we go.
Oh my goodness, look at this routing for Jet. This is going to work out so well. He's going to do escape. He's going to have a small key. He can go straight to the back of escape. He can do graveyard ledge while he's in the area. It's not useful, but he can check it off. And then from there he can go get his book. That just all falls really nicely into place for him.
Yeah, I mean, despite, the little hiccup there in the beginning where he didn't know where he needed, he's definitely making good on the time here, and it's not over by any means.
What it's gonna take for him to come back in this race, because, as much as they're tied on dungeons, Thalane's got so much more stuff checked. Jet just left the small key behind from the guard, which means he's not planning on going all the way through. Interesting. What it's going to take for Jet to come back in this race is for him to just be able to backtrack less. If that means he can get to Eastern Palace, or get the boat before he gets to Eastern Palace, so he only does that area, that dungeon once, that's a boost for him. Jay, you've got the fire rod.
Oh, that almost looked bad. That spiky ball looked a little close for comfort there, but he makes it through just fine.
But, Jet still has that entire South Shore area still to check, still to run through. He's still got to do that mushroom check. These checks are actually garbage in terms of their payout. Like, he doesn't get anything for them, but they're such high density, I can't imagine a world where he skips doing them. And that means it's going to be time that he loses in the same way Thalane lost him.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be hard for him to make up time on those trash. As you were saying, the routing he's done so far with what he's gotten has been extremely good. He seems to be continuing on that path. We'll have to see if maybe through his efficient routing he gets to skip some of those trash items. Maybe, maybe he doesn't have to check the mushroom, even though, as you said, it's very unlikely that we don't see a check.
Alright, Thalane's made his way up the tower. He gets to do this cutscene boss as well. Jet's gonna get his item from the Uncle area. Also remembering, hey, I don't need to talk to Uncle.
Yeah, we already got all the swords we're gonna see, and if chat is to be believed, we're gonna be seeing 8 blue balls from Aga here. I still have not been counting, but there's been at least 3 or 4, I think, already.
That makes for a very long fight. That's a lot of waiting around. Alright, looks like Jet is going to go straight for that book at Lumberjack. Turns out he skipped that key because he had done all of escape in the back area, so going through wasn't a useful path for him.
Oh yeah, of course. That makes sense. Alright, so Jet, as you were saying, grabbing his book, and then probably gonna go straight for the desert area.
So of course, inverted mode makes desert slightly more valuable. We are going to have that opportunity for the checkerboard cave spot as well. In addition to, Agahna's 2 items in desert, 1 item on the ledge, and that eventual item from the turn-in with Sahasrahla.
And thankfully for both of our runners, we are in possession of the boots already, so that's not something we have to worry about.
It's actually really cool that boots were a hard requirement to get into Desert Palace, because now you're not afraid to dip into Desert Palace without the boots.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, game. You didn't actually force a 4-heart hammer blind onto us, and you gave us the boots fairly early. This is fairly kind.
Yeah, with as much as people like to call for the trolls, call things trolly, want to see all the trolls, sometimes the game just kind of lays it out all nicely for you. At least, for a start.
We're in expert mode today. Just executing through this seed is going to be a challenge enough for these runners. I don't feel a need to troll them with wacky item placements. I just want to see them show off.
Yeah, I can get behind that, for sure.
It looks like Jet's going to skip Ice Rod Cave after getting the absolute garbage that was Mini Moldarm Cave. That's got to be the worst Mini Moldarm Cave I've ever seen.
Yeah, nobody can be happy about that. I mean, maybe there is someone out there who can be happy about that, but that is very sad. So Jet now just, on his way to desert, checking some more stuff that he hasn't checked before. The lane can just beeline it straight over there.
And I see him going for the Bombos tablet here, which is interesting. We know there's a bug in the logic right now where progression items can't be on the tablets. And that's probably why Jet is skipping. Or is indeed doing. Got me, Jet. But, heart pieces aren't progression. And when you're looking at 6 hearts for the rest of the seed, I think just the possibility of a heart piece being on that tablet would still be enough to check it.
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, I can kind of see it. You're already there. There's a convenient letter there. You don't need to mess around with any weird mirroring and then mirroring back and stuff. And you already have the book in your hand. It's kind of on the way. Might as well spend those, 15,
But then you have
20
to
seconds.
swap off the book.
Yeah.
You have to swap from book to bombs to go and get a piece of heart actually out of Agahnim's cave.
Fair. Alright, gonna throw in a quick check for the ledge.
Oh look, a blue Rupee.
What a surprise.
But fortunately, Desert Palace here is not one of those dungeons you're going to worry about your health for. Just because it is, second dungeon of the game normally. It's sitting in the light world. Nothing does too much damage, and I've seen both these runners do this dungeon with 3-4 hearts.
Yeah, I don't think Desert Palace is really gonna pose any sort of challenge for these guys. We get an early big heat. We can get whatever is on the torch. If we should want it, it might be a map or something stupid.
Oh, look, a piece of heart.
Yeah, we're getting that.
I thought this was expert mode where the maximum number of hearts was 9, but you only ever got 4.
Yeah, I mean,
that is forgiving.
That is kind of how it goes most of the time, isn't it?
We did see the hint tile said a unique item was in Blind's Hut, which is going to be that awesome hint we get in every seed that says, hey, I'll tell you where the boots are.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out we needed the boots to get in here.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, those hints. In another seed, you would have been very happy to read. In this seed, you're like, oh, well, another one of those.
I mean, imagine if you go into that room, you see an item required on the torch, and the hint tells you, hey, the boots are on the pedestal.
Yikes.
That's useful. Also useful is that great hook shot on right side desert.
Yeah, both of our runners picking that up with a couple of seconds between them, really. Always happy to find that hook shot. Usually a very good movement option. You definitely also need it to get around some dungeons, obviously, but movement-wise, I think both of these runners will prefer the boots for most.
I'm just excited for Paradox Cave and East Death Mountain with that hook shot.
Mm-hmm.
And heck, Hookshot Cave if they want to go back.
Sure, why not? I mean, the lane already took the very dangerous trek over there, dying once in the process. Might as well finish it up when he can.
So back at Desert Palace is fairly straightforward. And in these cases, when you have boots, you can treat it just like you're playing non-randomized. Dashing off of things, nudging torches so that you get lined up for key dashes. This is a really fun section of the game to play through. Runners making pretty good time and almost syncing up in that cutscene together.
Yeah, we see a slight little difference here. The lane was opting to light the torches with his lamp, saving as much magic as he can for that wonderful, beautiful display of with the fire rod. Jet, even if he manages to hit every shot as well as the lane did, will not have enough shots now to finish it off with the fire rod.
Did he use 2 fire rod shots for the torches?
Yeah, he shot from the right and lit 2 torches at once, but it's still 2 fire rod shots are still worse than 4 lamp.
Yeah, actually, I think he had just enough magic. He could have done it or with only fire rod, but he missed 1 shot, and that won't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, nice quick boss fights from both runners.
Yeah, very nicely done. Both of them grabbing their green pendants. The next time we're over in the eastern area, we can see what the good old man has for us. Hopefully, not another blue ruby.
Well, both runners have Death Mountain on their mind. Thalane using that hook shot to get over to the east side in Paradox Cave, and looks like Jet's following suit.
And I mean, if you're looking at this now, these guys really neck and neck almost. And anything that the lane has checked that Jet hasn't checked yet hasn't really gotten the lane any advantage so far. It might come to a point in the seed not too far in the future where they're trying to look for something specific and the lane gets to cash in on that bank time in that he already checked some stuff, but man, grabs the bow now just 30 seconds before Jet will grab it, not even.
That bow is about the best thing that Jet could have had show up right now. I think a big thing that could have hurt him was going over to the eastern area right now, not finishing it and kind of losing some time like the lane did. He's going to be able to one cycle that whole area and then dip into pod and finish up that as well if he wants. We are seeing Jet slowly but surely gaining a bit of time in this race.
Yeah, I mean, as long as his routing and his item finding keeps working out like it is right now, he'll be able to skip most of those trash checks that the lane did earlier, trying to find, progression items. Speaking of progression items...
Oh, that's a beautiful spot for the mirror. And Jet didn't go and look for it just yet. It's sitting right outside of Hookshot Cave, or the floating island, where our wonderful Rob hackers just painted a bridge for us.
I think that is such a meta place for that item to be sitting on the floating island with a bridge.
Normally, you'd need the mirror to get the mirror here.
Mm-hmm.
But today you don't.
Both of our runners grabbing that powder. We got that hint earlier. You never know about that magic bat. Powder in expert mode, other than finding out what the magic bat had. Not super useful, I would say.
But you still get a heart from powdering an anti-fairy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Jet remembering now. Yeah, I can check that floating island item. He's going to get his mirror, and we might see both runners checking Hookshot Cave at the very same time. Or not.
Well, looks like Jet is heading over to the other tablet. At least that's what I assume he's going to do. Oh, no, we're going into Hera.
Why not?
Sure.
And the rest of Hookshot Cave only containing cash. Jet's also going to get nothing but cash when he goes through there, since he's already got a shield from Palace of Darkness, and in expert mode we limit you to 1 shield.
Yeah, I mean, who needs shield? Shields are overrated.
The shield is very good if you're on your way to Palace of Darkness, and you need to block a thrown spear to save yourself and Kiki. It does a similar function outside of Swamp Palace, and it's not great beyond that.
We have another extremely useful hint, as well as another extremely useful 300 rupees falling from...
And another heart piece, and oh!
Okay. So, you know,
Catch
you
the hint.
were gonna talk about the trolley ice palace earlier, or you did talk about. Wait, is it? Am I looking right? No, I'm not looking right. It's Eastern Palace, not Ice Palace.
It is Eastern. 5-6 crystals required to get that big red bomb, get into the Pyramid Ferry, get something that I've forgotten already, but also get the ice rod.
Mm-hmm. I think the other item was just trash. It might have been a piece of heart, but I don't think it was. It might have been just more money.
That's such a nice little guide for these runners to just say, okay, you've done this, go ahead, go to Eastern, get your other 5-6 crystal, get your ice rod, then see what else you have and reevaluate at that point.
Yeah, I mean, at this rate, the routing keeps working out for Jet, no problem. He knows exactly where he's going to go next. He's going to turn in his green pendant, finish up Eastern, then he's going to finish up Pod, and then he's going to grab the big bomb, grab his ice rod, and we'll see where we go from there. If it continues like that, all the time that he spent trying to remember to go to the back of Skull Woods won't matter.
Yeah, this is developing very nicely. Clean Moldorm fights from both runners, and Jet now hanging out in the basement doing this tile room because he knows there's one more item to be had in Basement of Hera.
Yep, nobody happy about that small key dropping from Moldorm.
And Thalane going for this check as well, so neither runner losing time or missing out on an item due to this. This is what I like to see.
Missing out on another blue rupee, you want to say?
Oh my goodness. Come on.
I mean, not exactly, you know, I'm no Miss Cleo, but it's still good.
If you're gonna guess what item is in a chest, you can't pick the most common item in the game.
Yeah, I know.
Interestingly, Jet does a save and quit from the Ether tablet. Skipping out on, Spiral Cave. Skipping out on Hookshot Cave. I can see why he wouldn't go in the back door of Turtle Rock just now, since he knows where that ice rod is. You might want to put that off a bit.
Yep, and Jet now also going to show us what that green pendant gets us.
So, pretty quickly here, we're getting close to go mode. Saha only had 3 bombs, unfortunately. But what do we need? We need the Cane of Samaria from Myron T. Rock.
We need Quake.
Maybe. Probably not. We can just go in the back door, usually.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. We might need it for Misery Mine, whatever that needs to open up.
Yeah. And we'll need the Flippers to beat Swamp Palace. I think that's about it. This is inverted mode, so we don't strictly need the mitts for things.
Mm-hmm.
We know where the Ice Rod's hiding. It's in the Pyramid, which Jet's going to get as soon as he's done with Eastern here.
Yeah, that's not going to be very long at all. I'm not sure. I think there's also an item left in Eastern Palace. I don't think the lane got everything.
I think that's correct. The lane is mirroring to the laser bridge, doing some laser skips. Let's see how well he can do these. The basic idea is if you're sitting on just the right vertical pixel, when you dash, you will get nudged around the laser, which only has a hitbox on the front of it, and you can just very cleanly go and get those 4 chests without even getting hit. He makes it look a lot easier than it actually is.
Yeah, unfortunately, he is not really rewarded. He gets 2 red rupees, a compass, and I didn't really see what the last item was, but I assume it wasn't.
I think it was a blue rupee.
Yeah, of course it was. The lane is having no luck here with those guards today. He keeps getting bullied every. And really in expert mode, as we have been harping on about, every heart really.
Flame was about to go to Palace Darkness there, and then remembered, hang on, if I go to Eastern first, I can just mirror from Eastern and skip doing that whole hedge maze.
Yeah, still unfortunately takes a small hit there from the murder dactyl at the end, down to 2 hearts now. Those guys really.
You know, this is where some of those efficiencies Jet gets start to come into play. Thalane already made the trek over to Saha's hut and then has to do it again to trade in this green pendant, whereas because he did not come here earlier, Jet's able to do that in only 1 trip. Doesn't have to enter that house more than once.
Mm-hmm. The only upside here is that the lane can go straight to the boss of Eastern Palace here, since he has been in here before. But it's really, not going to save him as much time as he is kind of wasting having to double dip everything.
And you know what? It's I think that'll be less consequential time-wise than what happens when we get to Pod. Because Jet has done pretty much everything except the boss, so he'll be able to go straight to Helma King while the lane hunts around. He'll get his silver arrows out of the deal, but...
You're definitely right. The real big difference is going to be the next palace here for both of our runners, which is, as we're just saying, it's going to make all the difference. Jet is just going to beeline it straight to Helmasaur, and the lane will have to check everything because he has no idea what's in there. We do know, as you were mentioning earlier, that the silver arrows are pretty much the only thing we're going to find.
Ooh, Jet unfortunately misses some arrows in his Armos Knights fight. Ends up turning that last guy red, loses a bit of time to these guys dancing around, lining up at the top. But he will finish that. That is his 3rd dungeon done, and most interestingly, it's that 2nd Pyramid Fairy Crystal.
Alright, mirror out, and off we go into Pod. For Jet, straight to Helmasaur King, more than likely.
This is where we're going to find out if he actually checked those 2 chests in the front area, and he did not.
Nope, he's opting not to. I think he counted the keys because he's had two. He just opened the middle door and he needs one more to get to the bottom. I think they have to be keys, I believe.
Yeah, there is still a key to find. And looking at his pause menu, this was really good to see. He doesn't have the map. He doesn't have the compass yet. So we're going to see one of those drop on Helma. The other one's in the front half of the dungeon. And there we go. That's every item in the dungeon accounted for.
Yeah, that's perfect.
So that's actually extremely good routing of Pod by Jet to check the minimum number of chests he could. And we'll see how well thalane can pull that off. You don't think of it, but in practice, falling down all those holes in Palace of Darkness takes a fair chunk of time.
It really does take a whole while. For some of them, you also have to wait for the bombs to explode first, which adds another couple of seconds to every hole you want to fall into. Alright, Jet is on his way almost to the turtle room here, or past the turtle room already. Man, that was a lot faster than I thought it would be.
If those turtles behave properly, that turtle room can just fly by.
Alright, 17 hits on the mask, and now we're apparently going with fighter swords. Gonna take a little while, but we get it done no problem.
And as expected, just a compass hiding out there. That is a fourth dungeon down. I'm sorry, a fifth dungeon down on Jet's side.
And we see the lane, unfortunately, not routing as efficiently. He decides to bomb open that hole and grabbing one of the spare keys that he wouldn't necessarily have to grab.
I think a little bit of muscle memory might have kicked in there for Jet. He was ducking down into Saha's area and then realized, hang on, I've given him the green pendant already. I don't have to do that.
Yeah, maybe he's still...
I've got the boots. He's not going to give me those.
Maybe he's still a little unsure from earlier where he forgot that one chest in the back of Skull. Making, just wants to make sure, did I really turn that in? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I turned it in.
So, of course, inverted mode, as we're fond of saying, switches some things around, puts that bomb shop where Link's house would normally be, and Jet can buy the bomb there, take it up into the castle courtyard, and he'll just mirror here to be in the pyramid area.
Yeah, it's really quick. It's kind of the same thing as if you had killed Agahnim in the standard seed and then mirrored back and walked over to the castle, only in reverse, I guess, or in inverse.
And speaking of, killing Aga, this seed really was bottlenecked on that. You had to do that just to get the book from Lumberjack. That got you into Desert Palace. That gave you the hookshot to get to the east part of Death Mountain so you could get the bow. We're seeing something fairly linear once the puzzle pieces started to fall into place, at least for that big section. And, I think Jet's routing worked out so well because he got those puzzle pieces before covering a lot of the light world and was able to just leverage that and go straight through.
Yeah, I mean, despite the small mishap, he just managed to find all the puzzle pieces in the perfect order for him. And it worked out that he so far hasn't had to do any extra checks, any weird checks where you're like, yeah, that looks like I should check it, but do I really want to go there if this just opened up?
Yeah, now he's orphaned a couple spots. Ice Rod Cave, Mushroom, he hasn't done, and if it comes down to searching for one last item, and he does those checks, Thalane's going to get a lot of time back there. But for now, Thalane's on his way to Helmasaur King, and Jet is on his way to Mothula.
Yep, that dungeon that caused him some trouble earlier, he's going to finally finish it up. Wants to be a little bit careful with his magic use here. It just helps.
He just got bullied by those mummies in the Hellway, and it's not some health you want to be giving up. He's going to go into Mothula with 3 hearts. He needs to land 8 hits between Fire Rod and Master Sword. Though if he gets the spin attack, that'll count for 2. 3. 4. I'm actually impressed that Fire Rod shot worked, but it seems it didn't knock him into the spikes too fast.
Yeah, so far so good, it looks like. Can't be much left. He does need to be careful, though. Down to 2 hearts.
And that'll do it.
Very nice. Oh. Alright, well, it continues for Jet here. Just, finding the puzzle pieces in the right order, it looks like. I guess we know where he's going next.
Yeah, why not take those flippers and just do Swamp Palace that entirely opened up? It's too bad we don't have that left side Swamp Hand. I always hope to get it right when we walk into Swamp Palace, but either way, 6 items there, and then the opportunity to go west and mirror into the mire area. It'll keep working out for him.
Yeah, I mean he's getting closer and closer to go mode. There really isn't too much.
Thalane's trying to line up some hammer shots on the second phase of Helmasaur. You need your shield to be like right under the big jewel, and then you can hammer while facing upwards, and the hammer hitbox makes no sense but still collides. Instead, Thalane switches over to a combination of arrows and swords, and is going to beat that dungeon for his 5th. But he's a Skullwoods behind Jet in the linear progression here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where he decides to go next. I mean, he's obviously going to grab his Ice Rod. He might not immediately do it, though I don't see why he wouldn't.
He's back at Link's house, which does have that portal to get you near the bomb vendor. And it looks like he's going that way.
Yeah, definitely looks like.
Or not?
Yeah, we'll see where he ends up while Jet is making his way into Swamp.
He's, Oh, he's going to Magic Bat. No?
Oh, no, he's grabbing the Blacksmith?
I guess so.
Okay, that's an interesting choice.
Yeah, he can do 3 checks with this. He can do the Blacksmith, then he can do the Magic Bat, and then he can mirror and go ahead and do the Hammer Pegs as well. So it's 3 checks in quick succession, which is good. Unfortunately, in an all dungeon seed, you kind of want to just do your dungeons if you can do them. I think that includes Skullwoods.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably not thinking that the last item in a dungeon that you already had to pretty much clear out in the very beginning is the item that you need next. But it is true, as Jet has shown us.
There is still other stuff Thalane can do. He could try to get into Misery Mire if he wanted at this point. Jet is going straight to the back of Swamp Palace. He's got 2 sets of bombs so far from 2 chests in this dungeon.
Yeah, I kind of like this. I think from Jet's point of view, he probably still thinks he's pretty far behind just because of the blunder in the beginning. And if you find the big key here, you save a little bit of time. If you maybe find even more items here and then can finish off the dungeon with only 1 or maybe even 0 items left, why not?
Yeah, there's there's also that possibility you find Kana Samaria in here somewhere, and suddenly you're in go mode. Or probable go mode. So as we're about an hour and 25 into this seed, if you missed the earlier parts, we had a requirement to go to the back part of Skull Woods for the Moon Pearl early on in this race. And that location slipped Jet's mind. He missed it for several minutes, but eventually came back on it. And then when he hit the light world, he's just been on that critical path. Thalane doing some out-of-the-way checks and ultimately double dipping a lot of areas has kind of fallen into second place for the moment. Huh.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Why not?
I can see that. I mean, it's an interesting choice, and I think it's not a bad one at all. I was going to mention earlier that Jet completely, didn't check the pedestal at all, even after killing Mothula.
Well, he couldn't check it right after killing Mothula from where he was.
Oh yeah, of course.
Because he went in through the Dark World. So for those who weren't watching and are confused by the stun silence, Thalane did a pedestal check and found that the flute is on the pedestal. Of course, an inverted flute is considered optional if you can mirror yourself into the mire area. And there's got to be no way it's worth it at all to go and pick up that flute and then activate it. The time you save flying around the Dark World can't be enough.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, that is knowledge that is good to have, but it's just almost a little mean.
Haha, you could go get this, but you won't. Jet's in his moth, or Thalane's in his moth fight right now. He's got 4 hearts going in. He's staying pretty healthy so far. Just staying in the middle. The spikes are behaving. And there we go. Fairly quick. Nice and calm.
Grabs his flippers. Probably also not very happy about that, or might be super happy about it, but it's definitely not something I think either of our runners were really expecting to happen there.
No, we were expecting flippers to be in the earlier chest in Skullwoods, weren't we?
Well, you were. But yeah, that moth fight was very nice. The patience really paying off. I think that is probably the fight where patience pays off the most, as hard as it may be, because you tend to panic a little bit with all the moving floors and moving spikes and everything.
Yeah, it's a fight where if you freak out and you start trying to move too fast, you walk yourself into the spikes and you just end up out of it. Thalane is playing against Jet's option here, taking those flippers and going straight to Ice Palace.
Oh, unique item is in Ganon's tower.
Oh.
That could mean a lot of things in an all dungeons.
Well, now I want to know what's required for Mire.
I was thinking about the Ice Palace play earlier, but Swamp just seemed like such an obvious choice that I didn't even want to. But it seems like Thalane is, thinking a little bit differently about the Ice Palace play than I was.
Yeah, I like his use of bombs in that first Pain Gator room to take out 4 of them quickly. I also appreciate that he switched back over to hook shot to get the one-hit kills on the rest of them.
Yeah, I think those Pain Gators, they're so weird. Why do they take 2 fire out shots but the hook shot immediately kills them?
Because they're in ice pellets, so they're very, very cold, and fire is not enough.
Okay, makes sense.
So, Jet did that full clear of swamp, went back into the left side. I think the best thing he got out of that was a green potion.
Mm-hmm.
Which Thalane just saw the hint for. A bottle requires the hammer. So, it's not a very descriptive hint. But Jet's play into swamp could cost him if Thalane ends up getting to go mode that. It's we're just gonna have to see where this Cane of Samaria ends up hiding.
Yeah, that is really the main thing we're looking for.
Cane of Samaria and maybe another medallion to get into Misery Mire.
Yeah, we'll have to wait until we can finally see it. It's gonna be another little while, probably. I mean, if the cane is here in Ice Palace, it probably won't be that long anymore. But if it isn't, we will probably see a Swamp Palace from the lane immediately after. And I'm not sure what Jet is gonna do if he doesn't find the cane.
Yeah. So, I want to talk about that Turtle Rock Quake for a second, because it's a weird one in Inverted. If we get the Cane of Samaria, then there's always a way to beat the dungeon without Quake, no matter how bad the key layout is. But there are certain key layouts where the game expects you to have Quake, because you might use your keys poorly, lock yourself out, and the only way you can beat the dungeon is with Quake. Depending on the key layouts, we may or may not have a situation where Quake is strictly required to beat the dungeon. And if that happens, logically required, if that happens, obviously Quake's not going to be Ganon's tower, which might be a factor for this Misery Mire medallion, which we still need since it's all dungeons. So there's still some ways this can play out.
Yeah, I mean, there's still potential for a lot of weird things to happen. This isn't... I mean, so far it's been pretty linear, especially on Jet's side. He somehow managed to route it perfectly, so he gets, the right puzzle piece in the right order. But there's still a lot of potential for this to go sideways for either of our runners.
I want to draw attention to the fact that Thalane, it looked like he was randomly walking into the staircase in the room above where he is. He was trying to go for that speed, or that spin clip, where you just clip yourself through the rail of the stairwell, you don't ask too many questions, and you end up a floor below, saving a couple seconds if it works.
Yeah, it looks really cool too. Pretty new tech, I would say. Apparently a little bit harder than we thought.
18 years later, and we're still finding new tricks for this game.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, isn't it?
Alright, Thalane all the way down in Cold Stare.
He's here at full health, which is a good place to start with your expert mode here. Those puffs, they already hurt a lot in normal modes, but if you only have 9 hearts in green mail, for sure. We aren't even at 9 hearts yet.
No, and that 9th heart really would make a difference. As it is, you can take 1 hit from a puff, plus 1 hit from the ice, or just 2 hits from the ice safely.
Oh god.
Oh. Almost boxed in, Thalane gets himself out. A lot of his spin attacks just aren't connecting on these puffs, and that's costing him some time in this fight. But fortunately, this is not one of those fights that gets worse. As long as you just keep dodging things, play it safe, you can get out of this.
Yeah, very nice. Again, very patient. Only gets a couple of bombs, so Ice Palace, again, not the place where we're gonna find the Cane of Samaria. And I'm gonna say, with, the more places that we see checked across both of our runners, the more this is, I don't want to say turning into the lane's favor again, but it kind of is, because all of these checks that Chet has orphaned so far, they are, looking more and more attractive to him, probably the more stuff he's checked out and has not found that kind of Samara.
Yeah, if Jet gets it into his mind that he does have to do Ice Rod Cave overall, that's not a nice check. That's out of your way. That's kind of on its own. It's not a fun one to go back to. And same for Mushroom. Those things could easily give Thalane a boost back, but I think Thalane's about to lose a bunch of time clearing out Swamp Palace fully as well. Makes sense to do, but we know it's not going to give him anything.
Yeah, it's going to give him another crystal, which is nice, but it's not going to help him anything. And at this point, I'm starting to wonder a little bit, can that unique item in Ganon's tower, could that be a Cane of Samaria?
No, that definitely can't. At the very least, we need Cane of Samaria to beat Trinexx.
Oh yeah, of course. Duh. We still have to somehow get into Trinexx's room.
I mean, it's an exciting idea. I don't blame you for hoping for it.
That would have been so nice.
And Jet has a faster Cold Stare fight. I was a bit worried for him since he spent most of that one puff hit away from Doom. But he's able to clean that fight up a bit faster than Thalane did.
It looked very close. He manages to get through it just fine, grabs his crystal. I'm really curious to see where he's going now. Predictably, the lane is now, as you were just saying, just going to go through his Swamp Palace. We'll see if he decides to risk it and skip the left side. He probably won't. I wouldn't, maybe, in that situation, but we'll have to see.
Looks like Jet's going to head up to Hobo, get his item here, and then I wonder if he puts that together with a Zora check.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Now it's occurring to me. We thought Thalane was going to fake Flipper there, and then he didn't.
Oh, yeah.
For all we know, Gomo's hiding up in Zora's area.
Oh man, wouldn't that be something? If Zora has something now, that's very good for Jet. Otherwise, we might starting to see the beginning of Jet's checking of those trash items that the lane has spent his time checking earlier while Jet was trying to figure out where he even needs to go.
I'm not totally sure why Jet hopped back up on that ladder there.
Yeah,
But-
I'm not sure.
But he's up in Zora area now, so that'll work for him. At least to clear it out. 300 rupees, 5 rupees. As the lane's just running around back a swamp.
So far, nothing that will really get him ahead anymore in any way. We'll see what is on the ledge here, and oh boy.
Okay. Quake Medallion might do it?
It might. I mean, at this point, if you're already here, I will probably grab, unless Sora spits out the cane.
There's no question you grab that. I think the interesting thing about that is now you've got 2/3 of the medallions. The odds that you can get into Misery Mire just went up.
Mm-hmm.
And, combine that with the Mire Shed, you're looking at potentially 4 items, and if Kane's there, boom, suddenly you're in go mode.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see Jet do just that.
He's up on the mountain, though. Is he going to Spiral Cave that he skipped earlier? Laser Bridge?
Yeah, I think we're doing Spiral Cave, Laser Bridge, Hookshot Cave. I think he's not been to yet.
Thalane's going for the double spin strat in this Argus fight. Trying to hold his sword out to charge a spin while he hooks 2 puffs at once. Or he was earlier. Now he's just going for those conventional slashes.
Yeah, probably doesn't want to put himself at unnecessary risk. He's going to be trying for that nice little double fire shot. Oh, almost gets the spin. Alright, so that's through Swamp Palace for the lane. We'll see what he decides to do next. Does he go for the left side? I don't think he's been over there yet.
No, he hasn't. So we are now sitting at 8 dungeons apiece for these runners. Plus, on top of that, Aga Tower completed.
Alright, and we're skipping left side. We do know that it's a good decision, but the lane doesn't really know that, so we'll see. We do have a dig spot check coming up, though, so that's another interesting piece of the puzzle.
Oh, that's right. That was like the first chest in Ice Palace, I think. We got the shovel.
Mm-hmm. So we'll try for a item dash there. Gets one on the way out.
Very nice.
Alright, only a red rupee, so that's not really worth our time either.
Jet's going to show off some laser skips. Let's see how good his dashing game is.
Meanwhile, the lane is finally picking up his ice rod. I wonder if that means he wants to... Well, he can't really go back in Turtle Rock, at least not in the direction of the boss.
He can walk in. He can stand on Laser Bridge. He can't do anything useful.
Yeah. So this is just to get it out of the way, I guess. There we go, finally gets a damage boost to be able to dash with the bomb attack. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh man. Oh, and the mirror box, that's actually good. Oh no. Oh god.
Oh no.
Oh god, is it permanently broken?
I don't think it's permanently broken as much as I think he walked into that mirror portal.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, okay. I was worried that he didn't actually open the pyramid.
Okay, good thing. That scared me for a second, but we're all fine.
I was so worried he was going to have to drag that bomb around again.
Yeah, man. See something new every time you watch this game.
So Jet's running around in Turtle Rock still. He's got his eye on a couple of the midsection things that he can do. Because he can kill this pokey. Check the big key chest. See what he gets from it. And it's a small key.
Well, okay. It's a start, somewhat.
I'm not sure he can get much progression out of here without having the Cane of Samaria.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. The lane is now also checking the Zora area.
On the other hand, these are checks Jet's going to have to do at some point, and if it works out, it works out.
Well, that's a map, so I think that's going to be it for Jet.
Yeah, no big key, so he can't go and check the big chest. But he can wind his way down Spiral Cave.
I skipped that earlier, so another little thing where the lane is making up some of that back time from earlier, but with his Sora check that he put off when he portaled or Zora whirlpooled over, it's not really gonna help him much, unfortunately. Just grab that Quake Medallion. We still don't really know if we might need it. I think there could still be a potential constellation of things where we might need it.
I mean, if it's required for Mire, we absolutely 100% need it.
Well, yeah, that is for sure.
This is, of course, all dungeons race. And that includes Agahnim 1, even in seeds where Book isn't at Lumberjack.
Yeah, so I mean, they always planned on killing Agahnim 1. It just kind of It's sort of weird. I feel like it kind of fit in time-wise in a way it would fit in a normal Link to the Past playthrough.
Yeah.
Alright, we're finally getting a look at Mire, and look at that. We do indeed need Quake from Mire, so good thing the lane just picked. And let's see what we get out of the shed. Ah, it's a blue meringue.
Jet is not where he needs to be right now, I think. He is up doing Smith's area stuff, which is going to include hammer pegs, magic bat, maybe even the Smith himself. We are rapidly running out of locations, and I'm starting to think Kane might sit in Misery Mire.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I was talking about earlier. We do have that Kane that is still eluding us, and the lane checked so many overworld locations earlier that kind of made it look Jet was ahead, or at least, you know, head-to-head with the lane. But now that the lane is here in Mire, with a good chance of the Kane also being in, and Jet is trying to catch up on all these overworld checks that he orphaned earlier, it might turn out very differently.
Potentially 2 items available here in Mire.
And just because I just read it in chat, we could still be finding those Titans. You were saying earlier they're not technically required because of inverted and how it works. So we don't need to see them necessarily. But they might lead us to something that we need.
That's right. I think at this point, the only thing left that they could be blocking is the King's Tomb, which in inverted is a hassle and a half to get to.
Yeah, definitely not a fun location. The lane showing us his preferred beep speed here, down to half a heart. Pretty much anything will kill him here.
If only he had some sort of armor to reduce the impact of enemy attacks on him.
Yeah, wouldn't that be helpful? Oh man, okay. That was a close fireball. And it's a Rupee, so one more item to find.
If it's not in Misery Mire, it could still be in Spike Cave.
Yep, Spike Cave is one location that nobody has checked. It is, it's definitely something in Expert, but with the potion that Chet is buying here, I don't know if he's just trying to get rid of all the money that he has, or if he's thinking about Spike Cave, maybe.
Could be little column A, little column B. He's also in the area anyways, because he had to do that mushroom check. But he is back in the South Pyrule now. I think he might be headed to Misery Mire.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it. At this point, I don't blame him at all. He still has a couple of orphan checks in the overworld, but why not check out that dungeon if you can? Dungeons have treated him well so far in this season.
Unfortunately for him, this is probably the only play, or not the only, this is a play that will not work in his favor. If Kane's not here, he full clears the dungeon and comes out of it behind thalane. If Kane is here, he's just a couple minutes behind thalane. And either way, that's a lot of time he has to make up that I'm not certain he's in a position to do.
I didn't see what the lane just pulled out of the chest, but apparently it wasn't anything of importance, was it?
It was a small key.
Oh, okay.
Which in Misery Mire, a small key and a chest is of about the least importance. Means you can navigate slightly easier. Oh my goodness!
Of course. Almost the last check. Almost. We are down to half a heart. I think he also just found... No, the big key is right at the beginning because it was a god mire, theoretically at least, right?
Yeah, it's right on that first bridge. But it would take some actual galaxy brain routing from Jet to go straight to that big chest instead of, checking left side first or flipping the crystal switch.
That will be very interesting. I was just gonna say that's so mean. You get that big key so early on. It would be amazing for go mode. It is theoretically also amazing for the item that you're looking for, but nobody should be going, oh, I got a big key, I'm gonna check the big chest first.
This is one of those cases. If you could just, know where everything was, you could route this dungeon in actual galaxy brain ways, and you just can't do that here.
No, maybe you luck into it somehow. You're like, well, whatever, it doesn't matter. Might as well just check the big chest because I just got the big key. But other than that, I don't think anyone would ever go and do that.
I admit, I was still holding out hope that Jet was just going to go straight south there instead of climbing the stairs.
That would have been pretty fun.
Just to see him do it. But no, he's going to do the conventional play, kind of in most cases, the smarter play.
Yeah, most
Thalane has been very aggressive with his powder. He's gone from half a heart up to 4.5 just from powdering anti-fairies.
Yeah, there's a lot of anti-fairies going around here. He's using what little protection the cape offers him to get one spin in on all of these eyes here.
It's beautiful to see the magic bar drain like that.
Yeah, I think, when we talk about it and when we tell people, hey, listen, the cape drains twice as fast, 4 times as fast, whatever it may be, it never sounds like it will be bad. But when you actually see it in action like that and you see the magic bar just go away in less than a second, you're like, oh, okay.
I want a slide whistle effect. He is doing this fight very well with spins. I'm a little sad he's not just using the bow. Even without silver arrows, it can be very effective. And there's...
Oh, it looks like he heard you. I'm glad he's not going to try to kill the big eye with the hammer or spins. It is definitely possible, and I have full trust in the lane to be able to get it done. But this is just so much easier and more convenient. Alright, there we go. Grab our last pen. And gonna head off to Turtle Rock for the lane. It's not gonna be a very long one, is it?
Well, we don't have the big key yet.
What do we not?
Do we? No, so we're gonna have to find the big key from somewhere in Turtle Rock. And then we can, then you're right, we can absolutely just head to the laser bridge door, go straight to the end. The problem is, big key can kind of be anywhere in the dungeon. It can be in the crystal roller room because you could get there from the laser bridge. It can be in the very front section. Can't be in the vanilla chest, but we only know that because Jet's checking that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for the lane and for Jet as soon as he's done here that they don't have that big key yet. Just because it can be so annoying to find it, and in inverted, being able to get through the laser bridge, all you need is a small key to open up that door to the left, and you're pretty much right in there. If it wasn't for that big key.
So I like the way Thalane's going about this. He's going to enter from Laser Bridge. And that means that he's going to go through the dungeon backwards. And once he's got the big key and, importantly, a small key, he'll be able to just mirror and he'll be right at the boss.
Yeah, it's a very nice choice. And with the boots in hand as well, he just needs to, dash straight up through Laser Bridge. Doesn't have to worry about the beetle, about the lasers, about anything. All he needs are keys of varying sizes. Alright, that's a big key. That's a good start, but it looks like he'd also would have preferred to have a small key as well in there, if somehow possible.
The good news for him is that we know where he can find one. He can just kill a Pokey, steal a key. Boom, done. Jet's gonna have to hunt a little bit more, because he's used up every small key he got. And that's gonna work strongly in Thalane's favor.
Yeah, the thing is, Jet, when he was in here earlier, he decided to check the vanilla big key chest, which was a key for a key. But that key was from that Pokey that Thalane is going to kill now, and it will enable him to just go straight back to where he was with that mirror, dash up, open that door, and off to Trinexx we go.
Jet's been using a combination of bombs, arrows, and sword spins in this fight, and maybe I'm seeing things, but I swear the lightning just actually destroyed his arrow as it was flying.
The lightning, if it hits your arrow, it actually carries it downwards off screen. It gets stuck in the lightning graphic and it gets carried off screen. It looks pretty crazy. I think it happened to me once. I might have a clip of it somewhere, maybe.
Well, good to know that's not why I'm crazy.
Alright, Trinexx fight with only the Master Sword, which probably means we're only going to be seeing a little bit of the menu here with the hammer coming out.
Very nice firehead takedown. Thalane's not missing any shots so far. Finally now switching to hammer, which he couldn't for a while because you can't switch items when things are exploding on the screen. This has been a pretty clean fight so far, and phase 2 should go nicely for him.
Setting up for the double hit gets it no problem. Is opting for the Master Sword. It is a little slower than just going for the hammers, but it is definitely safer and just a little more relaxed.
Yeah, I think that's a good word to describe Thalane's boss fights today. He's gone for the slower, the more relaxed, I know I can beat this boss, I'm just gonna take it slow and not do anything too risky.
Yeah.
And it's worked in his favor. He hasn't, aside from the silly blind fight, he hasn't had problems in bosses. Which you can't say for every runner when they play expert mode when they're sitting on that few hearts. Oh gosh, there's a flood of numbers in chat. Get your guesses in chat for where you think the big key is. We'll close that as soon as Thalane gets to Ganon's tower, which, Thalane, it's not here.
Yeah, it's not going to be too far for Thalane, but you'll have some time to get your guesses in. I'm sure everyone by now knows how all this works.
And to his credit, Thalane wasn't trying to open Ganon's tower at Ganon's tower. He was going to a portal so he could just save and quit and get back there. Of course, you can't use the portal on top of Turtle Rock because we haven't seen the mitts today.
Well, there's our last medallion.
Maybe that's our unique item in Ganon's tower.
So, Jet is going about this a pretty smart way. Unfortunately, he just remembered that he does also not have the Titansmith, so he can't go in the way he was planning to. He managed to pick up 4 small keys for Turtle Rock in total. But unfortunately, I don't think he has the big key yet because he hasn't quite gone through.
Yeah, with Big Key and the Crystal Roller Room, the only way he can get there is from the Laser Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of small keys, did Thalane just get 4 small keys at once from the Stalfos room.
Yeah, he's at 5 small keys. He's been in GT for
Never
like
seen that.
2 minutes, maybe, not even. And we're already at 5 small keys.
I've been doing rando stuff for like almost 2 years, and I've never seen all 4 GT small keys in that room.
Yeah,
that's fun.
That was pretty amazing.
This is great. It means that when the runners climb Ganon's tower, they don't have to make sure they're carrying enough small keys.
Yeah, there's definitely enough small keys for them this time. Now, this is number 9, I believe, right?
That's right.
Yeah. I can count, I promise.
Oh, I can't count them anymore. I just know which chest is which number if they did the standard route.
I do for some of them, but I get confused because people go through the beginning of GT in like 400 different ways depending on whatever they find. Oh.
Thalane's madly dropping bombs and getting more out of chests in Tile Room. I'm a little sad that he got a big 20 there instead of 4 times 3 bombs.
Yeah, and then he picked up that one bomb instead of opening the chest on accident. It's really working against him, unfortunately. Trying to reduce the lag as much as he can, but the game's not having any of it.
I do like this play he did here. He didn't bonk over the tile. He did go to the teleport room and picked up 5 extra arrows under the pot, because he knows he's probably doing Ice Armos, and he wants all the arrows he can get.
Definitely. I mean, now that we also have the silvers and we know we can save 100 million spins on the Ganon fight, we want to have as many arrows as we can.
I feel like it's not a full 100 million. I think it's slightly less than that.
Alright, I mean, a little bit less. It feels like as much.
It's so many that I'm not going to call you out on the specific number. That's a... Oh! I was about to say it was a very nice Ice Armos fight for Thalane, but that Red Armos healed himself and he had to sink 3 extra arrows into it.
Yeah, he barely missed the quick kill, gets another piece of heart for his trouble. So, well, I mean, if it turns out that he finds enough, I don't know how many he's missing for another, but...
I think that was his first one for the final heart, because he got more hearts as soon as he walked into this dungeon.
Oh, okay, well then, definitely not something he's happy about.
So there is a little theory people have, which is something like if you get all your small keys very early, the numbers, the statistics say the big key is slightly more likely to be in Tile Room. I don't know. We'll see how much Jet believes in that idea when he gets through the Stalfos room.
Is that really a theory? Is that, is that people actually crunching the numbers and stuff and coming up with that, or is that people...
Oh yes, that's actually crunching the numbers, and of course, like any stats, what you're doing is you're looking at the aggregate, and so you can't say it definitively, but...
Yeah, of course.
Today, after we've seen every other single chest checked, there's no way it's not Tile Room.
I mean, yeah, at this point, okay. At this point, I won't argue anymore. It just sounds like something that's, people like to make it Tile Room as much as they can. In their heads, at least.
Oh, Thalane just ran out of magic before he could grab the wall, so he wasn't able to take advantage of that grab the wall with Cape Glitch to keep his magic meter running. He's going to have to do this the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, needs to watch out for the Wallmaster as well. The Wallmaster probably the more dangerous enemy in this room here. If he grabs you and pulls you out, you're going to have to sit through all of this.
Did we mention that Titans were on the torch?
Oh, really? I missed that.
And Big Key was in chest 22, the last possible chest in Ganon's tower. So good job, Big Dunka, and I'm surprised that no one else guessed any number higher than 19.
Yeah, really. I'm a little bit surprised. Usually there's at least one tile room guess.
Usually there's at least one person who's guessed 23, even though that's not a valid answer.
Yeah, I mean, that is a fair point. Oh, man.
Ooh.
That is painful. Thankfully for him, he wasn't too far into the whole grind yet, but still not something you really want to see. Jet, unfortunately, also did not take the hint with the statistics that we were talking about earlier. Is going to be checking everything. Also going to be coming up on his ice armors. Lane really needs to be careful here. He's already down to 3 hearts. Gets to stop the beeping at least. Oh boy.
So just a reminder to everyone that this is game 1 of a 3-game series. Thalane does look poised to take it, and game 2 is going to be immediately following this one, almost certainly on this channel right here. If it comes down to it, game 3 is going to be tomorrow. So be sure to stay tuned, because I don't know about you, I think there were a ton of lead changes in this race, and I want to see what these two keep doing.
Yeah, certainly. This was an absolutely great race. It looked like in the beginning Jet really forgetting the back of the Skull Woods and really kind of lost there for quite a while before he finally gets to progress, but then manages to find the items just in the right order to be able to skip a lot of the trash checks that the lane did. And yeah, it was very exciting. You really didn't know. It's still extremely close considering how differently these guys went about this.
I want to say, oh, it's expert mode, anything can happen still. And it still could in the Ganon fight, but it's not likely to in this tower climb, just with the absurd amount of health these runners are holding for an expert seed.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. It isn't over until it's over, of course, but it's definitely looking very good for the.
Yeah.
Jet there.
Jet having trouble in the ice armors fight as well.
Mm-hmm. Lane picking up some magic and a heart, while Jet finally going back to tile room, realizing, oh man, I really do have to do tile room. He has full magic, so he has a good chance to be able to grab the wall. Oh, wait, nope.
He's going to do right side first.
Oh, I didn't even realize he hasn't done that yet. Oh, that
An
makes sense.
eagle-eyed viewer in chat is also pointing out Jet's arrow count right now, which is 3. Which is not the best number to be sitting on. You do need at least 4 for the first Mimics room. So he's going to have to figure out something for that very quickly here. Unless one of these chests has a 10 arrow booster.
Yeah, that could definitely bail him out. Oh,
there we go. I was pretty sure I had seen something.
Also a red potion, which, is not going to help super much, but it could be the difference between dying and making it through a fight.
If it makes the margin on any fire bat hit, I'd say that's worth it.
Yeah, certainly.
Lane has climbed the gauntlet, got his full magic refill. Gonna head into Moldorm 2 now. If you do this right, it is 3 spins with the Master Sword to take him down. You just have to make sure you don't get a slash in by accident, or you will set up that angry mode where he goes way too fast.
Very nicely done. Moldorm played along as well. And we're on our way to Aga 2. Jet, in the meantime, almost done with Tile Room, so he's going to be grabbing his big keys. Thalane playing some music there with his hook shot. Doesn't quite get the triple. Oh boy.
That's a thing Thalane regularly does in the Aga fight, and I really like it.
Mm-hmm. I try to do that sometimes, but I can never get it quite as perfect as he does. It's really an art. It's a lot more difficult than anything.
As with so many things in this game, it's a skill to put some practice into. A strange one, but a worthwhile one.
Alright, Aga 2 done. Wasn't much of a problem. He makes it out with 4 hearts left. And the duck brings us into the light, or while Ganon's little bat here decides to crash into the castle.
Alright, Ganon can be philosophical, but we're still going to take him down. Problem is, Master Sword makes it take a long time. We're looking at 12 spins in Phase 1, 12 spins in Phase 2, and then the fight gets a lot easier. But this is a fight of endurance still. And touching Ganon at all with this level of health the runners have is a death.
Yeah, this is going to be potentially very hard. He gets a very nice position up here for the first round of Phase 2.
I think hitting a fire bat in this phase... Oh, I'm sorry I said that. We'll do 4 hearts of damage, and that'll do it.
Alright, now we have 5 hearts instead of 4, so back we... Thankfully, this means we haven't wasted any resources yet, like magic, or any of the arrows that we have, so even though this isn't as great as you want it to be, it's not as terrible as it could be.
That's right, and the best thing that can happen in this fight is, like we saw there, Ganon gets 1 tile away from the wall, and that way the knockback is not so harsh, and you can chain these spins together, because what can make this fight really drag on is when you're only ever getting 1 spin at once, especially with this circle of bats going in and out and in and out. If you're playing it properly safe, you're not getting a lot of hits in.
Yeah, this can be very dangerous. You can get hit when it's a circle, you can get hit when they turn into bats, you can get in there like the lane just did, but then not get out properly. There's just... Ooh.
Yeah!
Plenty of opportunity to die. Oh man.
Well, we can
Fire
take
bat, I don't know.
Oh no.
Oh, unfortunate. That
Grabs the
didn't work.
torch, hits the fire bat on his way there. Or sorry, when he lands there. Time for round 3 for Thalane.
And Jet is coming up on his Moldorm 2 fight here, so he is hot on his heel. He's not in any danger yet, but he is definitely making it exciting here.
Well, he did take a fall, which is its own danger. And costs a few seconds to reset the room. If you look to your left and to your right, you'll see Master Sword spins everywhere.
We all be spinning. And we're in Phase 2 again. This time the lane opted into making it safe as possible. Just staying away, gets another spin in here, and now to dodge those annoying fire bats again.
So there's a really interesting thing here, which is that Thalane had Now, Thalane's Ice Armos fight was okay, but it wasn't as good as ideal. Which meant he spent too long in that room. Which means that the fire bats move differently. And there's a 15-minute video on YouTube about it, but I wouldn't worry too much. The point is that spending too long in the Ice Armos room makes the Ganon fight harder to dodge. The game's weird, man.
Yeah, it is. It's really not something commentary should explain, I guess, because it's really detailed. That video is a good one. You don't have to, but it's very interesting to see.
The important thing to understand is that the fire bats aren't playing ball with him, and it's partly because of that. But he's making progress now.
Yeah, it's looking good so far, and Jet is now getting picked up by the duck as well, so we're gonna have 2 Ganon fights on our screens very, very... Oh, and we made it through the second phase, so the worst is behind us for the left.
Still need 4 spin attacks here, but that is the same 4 hits you need in any iteration of this fight.
Alright, now if we go with Jet. Thalane switching to the silver arrows for the first time in this. We've had them for a while, but we get 1 in right away. That leaves us with 3. Oh, we're getting the silver spinning.
I mean, it still does damage. It's
Oh.
not gonna... Oh no.
Oh no. Thalane,
Okay,
please.
so he didn't fall.
Okay, we've got 2 arrows in on the lane side. On Jet's side, he is in phase 2, dodging those fire bats. He's down to 1 heart. He needs to be very careful as well.
Yeah, Thalane's missed the torch glitch here, which means he's now very, very low on magic. Does make it harder to line things up, and you also need to charge that spin attack. But I think that's a 4th arrow.
Yep, he's got it in there. They're very close together still. Jet made it through phase number 2, so he is almost in the clear as well. This definitely came down to an absolute nail-biter, man.
Man, things could have gone either way at so many points during this race. That is a flood of GGs in chat. Well deserved for Thalane, as he finishes with an official time of 2 hours, 17 minutes, and 10 seconds. Great work on his part. Jet is close behind.
Yeah, very well done, and Jet gets his double in, so that's 2 silver arrows, I believe, in Ganon. That's the 3rd one. No, that's the 4th one, so we're done on Jet's side as well. That is not far behind. He is finishing up with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 17 minutes, and 52 seconds, so he's only 42 seconds behind Thalane. That's how close it came down at the end there.
That was an incredible Ganon fight on his side to close it out that quickly when Thalane was in phase 3 or 4 when Jet entered the fight. That's some serious execution to just knock the fight down like.
Yeah, that was really insane, and especially with how differently the seed went for both of our runners here, and what happened in it, and then to bring it down to less than 60 seconds after 2 hours and 17 minutes. It's pretty insane. So props to both of these guys. GG to Thalane for winning his first match out of the 3 that we might see. Definitely 1 more to go.
I want to share something for everyone watching at home from the chat room these 2 runners have. And it's just Thalane, when he finishes the race, saying, "This was the dumbest idea ever."
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him for saying that, and he's not entirely wrong.
Yeah, that was a hard run that these 2 runners had.
We'll see. I'm not sure if they immediately went into the next seed since they're playing back-to-back.
They are just setting up things right now, about to start their second match, but of course we do run these matches on a 20-minute time delay. So that means on this channel here, we are going to see the match start in 20 minutes, almost exactly. So do what you need to do. Get up, stretch, de-stress from those Ganon fights we just saw, grab yourself a drink or something, and stick around here for round 2 of these runners, 20 minutes from now. It's going to be an open mode with randomized swords, hard difficulty, and that.
Yeah, we're gonna see another kind of craziness, I would say. It's not gonna be quite as mean and different as Inverted is, but He-Sanity is a different beast, definitely.
Before we finish anything else up here, I want to give a huge shout out to Mind of Me for tracking this race, keeping track of the little things we missed along the way, and generally being on top of things, keeping the show running. So thank you so much for your work.
Yeah, a big thank you from me as well. It was really a big thank you, of course, also to you, Falion, for commentating this with me. It was a lot of fun. I hope my rust didn't come through too much. I hope I didn't get too mixed up with the inverted stuff.
I'll let it slide. No, I kid. It was a lot of fun. Thanks for joining me, Herfy.
Yeah, it was definitely a good time, and thanks, of course, for everyone watching us and listening to us blab on. The next match, it looks like, is going to be starting at 42 or almost 43, so whatever your respective time zone is, and 43 minutes, that is when the next race is going to start. And stay tuned for Mikan and Malay, your next commentator. And I hope you guys have a great night.
See you all later, everybody.